Good morning. It is 10:14 a.m. on Sunday, August 21st, 2016. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, we're into day 2 of my website not working right, sort of. So, apparently, according to my hosting company's customer service, the problem is with the network, which seems like I mean, while it may well be true, it also seems a bit like code for nothing you can do about it, but don't blame us. They did say it was a known issue. They're aware of it. They're working on it. And so, for example, the problem I'm having right now is that I can pull up my site if I'm using like a cell plan, like on my phone, but I cannot using my cable modem internet or Wi-Fi connected to that internet. And then I know from a couple of people who have told me that they can't connect to it either way, but apparently other people can connect to it just fine. So this is an inconsistent problem that is persevering into day 2, which is irritating. Just because it's like, I mean, it's better than nothing. I don't want to overstate that, given that I am able to, like, once I realized that I was able to connect with my cell signal, and that at least lets me update the page with the things I need to update it with. But like at the same time, it's much more inconvenient that way, not being able to use my computer. And it's also just irritating. It just sort of feels like who is actually responsible for the part that's not working? I I that's what I guess I'm not clear on. I don't know if that's my ISP or like the hosting company says it's their server is fine and yet it's also a known issue that they're working on. So what does that mean? This stuff is frustrating. It's one thing that occurs to me is that line of thought was maybe getting too close to tooting my own horn about the things that I do know about. I guess the problem is just that lots of things in the world are very complex and seem inscrutable or inexplicable to anyone who's just not educated enough on how they work. You know what I mean? It's like someone, with a car, someone who knows how an engine works and has studied it is going to hear, "Oh, yeah, your coolant pump started working too inefficiently and it wasn't able to supply enough fluid to the whatever it was." I'm now have in my desire for a fancy example, I've overshot my own engine knowledge. But the point is that someone could explain to you very clearly and succinctly exactly what the problem is. But the problem is complex enough that without a certain level of background knowledge, it's just going to sound like gibberish. And that's frustrating. So I guess that's where I'm at right now, is that whatever the issue is, it is an issue with a piece that I don't understand, and that makes me anxious. I mean, this has happened before, but I don't feel like I've ever seen it last a whole day before. And I don't know, so it just makes me feel like, okay, well, what do I do? I'm just, if this were to just keep going on, it's like, is there anything I can do about it? I'm not sure. Anyway, I think I'm also just inclined to be feeling a little bit ornery today, just because, I don't know, um, something's been pushing my buttons lately about people complaining about millennials. Now, I'm not what you'd call a millennial, although honestly, the boundaries where people divide these generations is seems pretty loose. But I guess what's just irritating to me is that while, of course, there are going to be differences in terms of like a kid who grew up with the internet versus a kid who didn't, like you could imagine that there would be um, differences, some in terms of what their expectations are, what they think about things, how they use technology. That like it makes sense that there's some differences. Um, as like the same with different past generations, where if you talk about a kid who grew up during wartime versus a kid who grew up in the early 60s, it's like you can imagine that being different. But I think what gets to me is just the feeling that what's really at the root of it all is and always has been adults complaining about young people, saying largely the same things no matter which two generations we're talking about. Kids today, right? I just feel like it's like, they don't take things seriously. They don't know how to work hard. Like that's the same stuff that every single generation has said about the next one. And it just, I guess, irritates me when people want to first, because people are being born all the time. So it's not like people come in batches. So people first want to draw these arbitrary dividing lines in between, okay, well, this generation starts here, and before that you're in this generation, and after that you're in the next one, which is nonsense. And then also to assume that everybody born in a certain time period is going to be the same as each other, which is nonsense too. I mean, it might as well be a horoscope for all these generational dividers actually mean anything, and it just bugs me. It's a pet peeve. All right. Well, anyway, enough about that. I think I'm probably, I said it the reverse earlier, but it's actually probably me being annoyed about my website, leaving me more prone to be annoyed by ordinary internet stuff. Anyway, one way or the other, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.